This is Griffdog here, and I welcome you to What If Dale Earnhardt is Still Alive Part 7. So just like Part 6, I will talk about every driver, number, and sponsor change from 2011 to today. I will also talk about what happens in each Daytona 500 from 2011 until today. Just like the previous videos, I will still make no mention on who won the other races and the other championships if Dale Earnhardt is still alive. Alright, let's start with 2011. So 3 things to know. First of all, Daytona is repaved. Just like in real life in 2011, Daytona International Speedway had a repave, and so now the track is as smooth as silk. 2-car tandems. Unfortunately, those are in this universe just like the real life one, so that'll be something to watch out for. And then lastly, Dale Earnhardt has a little bit of concern in the direction NASCAR is going. NASCAR is listening, but so far nothing has changed because of what Dale Earnhardt has said. So now with that being said, here's a look at the starting lineup for the 2011 Daytona 500. Starting on pole is Carl Edwards in the 99 Aflac Ford. Alongside him is Kyle Busch in the M&M's Toyota. Starting third is Kurt Busch in the Home Depot Ford for Robert Yates Racing. Kurt Busch signed a 3-year agreement to stay with Robert Yates Racing. To the outside of him is Jeff Gordon in the DuPont Chevrolet. Jimmy Johnson will start 5th in the Lowe's Chevrolet. To the outside of him is Brad Keselowski in the Miller Lite Dodge. Clint Bowyer is in the Cat car, he'll start 7th, and Matt Kenseth will be to the outside of him. Casey Mears returns to the 25 National Guard Chevrolet, and Kevin Harvick has a new sponsor this year. Budweiser moves over from Dale Earnhardt Jr. and will now be the sponsor for Kevin Harvick for the time being. Greg Biffle starts 11th, and Tony Stewart will start on the outside. Jeff Burton has a brand new sponsor as well in the number 3 car. Coca-Cola now becomes the official sponsor for Jeff Burton. Coca-Cola still has their little program with the other drivers, but their main affiliation goes with Jeff Burton. And alongside him is Casey Kane. As mentioned before, Earnhardt Motorsports fell in 2010. Casey Kane needed a ride, so Casey Kane goes over to Hendrick Motorsports, replacing Joey Nadeau. GoDaddy.com is the new sponsor for Casey Kane. David Reagan drives the 36 Golden Corral Chevrolet, and Golden Corral is the new primary sponsor. It is noted that David Reagan did fail to qualify the 2010 Daytona 500. Ryan Newman starts 16th. 17th is Brian Vickers, and to the outside of him is Jeremy Mayfield in the Kellogg's Ford for Robert Yates Racing. Dale Earnhardt Jr. has a new sponsor in 2011. Bass Pro Shops moves over to that ride and will be the full-time sponsor for the entire year. To the outside of him is Denny Hamlin in the 11 car. AJ Allmendinger moves over to the 43 Best Buy Dodge, replacing Reed Sorensen, and Paul Menard in the 15 car at DEI. Brian Clausen is a Rookie of the Year contender. He replaces David Stremme in the 40 Ganassi Dodge. And Jamie McMurray starts to the outside of him in the 1 McDonald's Chevrolet. Joey Logano has a new sponsor in 2011. Shell Penzo moves over from Kevin Harvick, and to the outside of him is Juan Pablo Montoya. David Stremme has a brand new ride in 2011. He replaces Scott Riggs in the 6 car, and Valvoline returns to Roush as the full-time sponsor on the 6th ride. To the outside of him is Martin Truex Jr. Scott Speed signs a 1-year extension with Red Bull Racing, driving the new number 4 Toyota, and Marcus Ambrose moves over from the 47 ride to the new 44 Stanley Tools Dodge for Petty Motorsports. David Gilliland moves over to the 34 Taco Bell car, replacing Travis Waffle, and Regan Smith starts 32nd. Bobby Labonte is in the Interstate Batteries car, and Eric Almirola is in the 33 car. David Rudiman starts 35th, and Landon Castle, running a part-time schedule for Phoenix Racing, plans to run 6 races this year. Bill Elliott continues to run part-time in the 21 Wood Brothers machine, and Max Pappas in the Geico 13 Toyota. Robbie Gordon continues to drive the number 7 car for himself, and Terry Labonte will drive the 32 US Chrome Ford. Into the rear now, Joey Nadeau left Hendrick Motorsports and is in a new ride for Front Row, replacing David Gilliland. And to the outside of him is Scott Riggs, who lost his ride at Roush Racing, and now he's in the 47 ride, replacing Marcus Ambrose. And rounding out the field is Joe Nemechek in the 87 car for himself. We have a clean start to the 2011 Daytona 500. Taking the lap 5, Jeff Gordon gets a good push from Kurt Busch down turn number 1. But Kurt Busch decides to dive for himself, and he, with the help of Jeff Gordon's teammate Jimmie Johnson, will take the lead. Two-car tandems are going to be the norm for this year's Daytona 500. On lap 23, Carl Edwards gets the help of Kevin Harvick, and he gets pushed into the lead. First caution on lap 29, Joe Nemechek gets loose in turn 4, goes up the outside wall, and he will be the first car out of the race. First round of pit stops as Tony Stewart will win the battle off pit road, and he will start first for the first restart. Taking it to lap 36 on the restart, we have a 4-car tandem. Carl Edwards decides to get his nose out, but because all the other cars are together, that's not going to happen. Taking it to lap 58, Jimmie Johnson and Kyle Busch try to get together, but they did not connect correctly, and Jimmie Johnson gets put into the outside wall. No caution comes out, and Jimmie Johnson is not out of the race by any means. Lap 65, Kyle Busch gets a push from Carl Edwards, and Kyle Busch gets pushed out into the lead. Lap 67 has our second caution. Scott Speed and David Gilliland get together, and Gilliland spins toward the front straightaway. That brings out our second caution. After pit stops, lap 72 was our restart, and Brad Keselowski gets a push from Carl Edwards, and we have a new leader, number 2. Third caution comes out as Greg Biffle, Joey Logano, and Robbie Gordon get together, and Joey Logano gets to the outside wall. Logano does suffer some damage, but he keeps going in the race. Lap 88, we got another restart, and Paul Menard takes the lead away from Clint Bowyer in the 31 car. He gets assistance from Jeff Gordon. But the caution comes out as AJ Allmendinger spins down to the inside. AJ Allmendinger fortunately keeps going, but with a little damage to the back end of his car. Another restart, and Jimmie Johnson goes to the front with the help of Matt Kenseth in the 17. Problems for the 2-car Brad Keselowski. He drops a cylinder driving down turn number 1 on lap 103, and that would put Keselowski behind the wall. Another caution comes out as Casey Mears, Terry Labonte, and Jeff Burton spin down into turn number 3. Fortunately, none of them get too much damage, although they are going to go to the back of the field. Lap 130, another restart, and Jimmie Johnson leads a Hendrick trio down turn number 1. Another caution turn number 2 as Jeremy Mayfield and Regan Smith get together. Mayfield, Smith, Montoya, Casey Mears, and Kenseth out of nowhere crashes into the rest of them. Both Casey Mears and Matt Kenseth end up going behind the wall because of this crash. After the final pit stops on lap 168, Carl Edwards gets a good shot into the lead, but Tony Stewart and Clint Bowyer are right behind him. And we got more problems as Greg Biffle and Casey King get together. The caution comes out once again, and Greg Biffle, he does keep going, but the caution is out. Another restart, and Casey Kane goes into the lead with the help of both Carl Edwards and Tony Stewart. Jeff Gordon, Jimmie Johnson, and Dale Jr. are all right there to pounce. Jr. and Kurt Busch get hooked up together, and they have a powerful run as they go underneath Tony Stewart's. Oh, we got trouble! Carl Edwards, Jimmie Johnson, Dale Earnhardt Jr. all spin down the back straightaway. Caution comes out on lap 174. More problems behind as Juan Montoya and David Rudiman rack down the back straightaway. Fortunately, none of these cars are out of the race either, but again, they are forced to the back of the field because they have to change tires. We got a restart here on lap 179. Now this restart is very critical for one big reason. Watch the front of the field here as they take the green flag. That's right. Clint Bowyer and Kyle Busch did not get connected correctly, and Bowyer spins Kyle Busch into turn 1. The worst part, because Kyle Busch was so deep into the grass, the caution did not come out, so the cars kept driving down the back straightaway. Several of them were below the yellow line, including Clint Bowyer, but Bowyer lost a few spots down there, so no penalty for that team. More problems down turn number 3. Bobby Labonte head on into the outside wall. Martin Truex gets some damage as well, but nobody spins. And so because of that, we still do not have a caution. Two-car tandem up front as Eric Almirola grabs the lead late in the race. Clint Bowyer, Kevin Harvick, teammates Almirola are right there with the 33 car. But another caution comes out. Robbie Gordon gets tipped from Jimmy Johnson, but karma is a butthole as Robbie Gordon goes up and all 4 cars get into the outside wall, including David Reagan and Terry Labonte. Jimmy Johnson would end up going behind the wall. So we end up having a green-white checkered finish. Eric Almirola is in the lead, Tony Stewart's second. We will go live these last 2 laps and figure out the winner of this year's Daytona 500. Almirola first, teammates Clint Bowyer third, and Kevin Harvick fifth. The green is in the air, 2 laps to go. Who is going to win it here at Daytona? Several cars go and touch below the yellow line, but I don't think it's that big of a deal. Still side by side. Gordon and Allmendinger on the outside are going to get together, and now it looks like they're going to connect with Tony Stewart. Meanwhile, the RCR trio are right in front of each other going down turn number 2. Jeff Burton is not far behind either. Oh, we almost had a problem as Jeff Gordon and Allmendinger get together. Down the back straightaway, Almirola goes high, Kevin Harvick goes high, Clint Bowyer stays low. Junior all the way down to the grass. Does Junior get up and will he collect a bunch of cars? Boy, lots of contact going on. Dale Jr. does save it. No caution, we stay green. Kurt Busch to the inside of Clint Bowyer down turn number 4. And here we go. We are going to have 1 lap to go to decide the winner of the 2011 Daytona 500. Kurt Busch is your leader. Does anybody have a chance to get by the 28 car? Denny Hamlin, Jeff Burton. Remember, he spun out earlier. He has a chance to come back. How about the 34 car, David Gilliland? How about David Stremme, 2-time champion of Daytona? And he has a shot to win it. But Kurt Busch has a very strong car here at the end. Can he get another win for Robert Yates Racing? Denny Hamlin and Casey Kane are going to get connected. They're 3rd and 4th. But right now, Clint Bowyer has no help. Kurt Busch has no help. David Stremme and Kevin Harvick are together as they are going to get together, but will they have enough time? Clint Bowyer has a run, but it looks like Bowyer's going to stay behind Kurt Busch, and Busch in the 28 car Ferrari Yates Racing will win the 2011 Daytona 500. Congrats to that team, as here's the top 5. Clint Bowyer finishes 2nd, Jeff Burton ends up finishing 3rd, David Stremme with an impressive run finishes 4th, and Kevin Harvick finishes 5th. So 3 RCR cars finish in the top 5 at the 2011 Daytona 500. So here are 3 things to know about the 2012 Daytona 500. First of all, just like in real life, the race has been moved to Monday night because of rain. So that is why this race is run under the lights at Daytona. The second one, there's been a little bit of a stall out in terms of rookies. There's not many new drivers making an appearance in the Cup Series. Something that NASCAR has been mentioned out to the public. It'll be interesting to see how us the people, as in drivers and teams and whatnot, respond to that. Finally, no more 2-car tandem. Because of the finish of the 2011 Daytona 500, they saw how Kurt Busch was able to win without a partner. So they decided to go back to the old roots. No more 2-car tandems, and we're gonna have good old 1v1 racing at Daytona. Alright, so now that we got that out of the way, here is a look at the starting lineup for the 2012 Daytona 500. Starting on pole is Greg Biffle in the 16 car. Alongside him for a second time in a row, Kyle Busch in the 18 M&M's Toyota. Casey Mears has a new ride for 2012. He moves over from the 25 ride to the 13 Germain Racing Ford, replacing Max Pappas. The outside of him is Jeff Burton in the 3 Coca-Cola Chevrolet. Carl Edwards starts 5th, and alongside him, Matt Kenseth, who has a new sponsor this year in the form of Best Buy. Dale Jr. will start 7th, and David Stremme, with a good qualifying race, will start 8th. Martin Truex Jr. will start 9th, and Marcus Ambrose will start 10th in the 44 Dodge. Clint Bowyer has a new ride in 2011. He has the new number 15 Fire Energy Toyota, driving for Michael Waltrip Racing. And to the outside is a new driver in a new ride. Stephen Light, a veteran now of the Nationwide Series, moves up to the Cup Series in the new number 83 BK Racing Toyota. Stephen Light is also a Rookie of the Year candidate. Jeff Gordon has a new sponsor in 2012. AARP comes along, and Joey Logano continues to drive the 22 Shell Pennzoil Dodge. David Rudelman drives the new number 93 BK Racing Toyota. He moves over from MWR, and Regan Smith continues to drive the 78 car. AJ Allmendinger, he moves over from the 43 car to the number 31 Caterpillar Chevrolet for Richard Childress Racing. And to the outside, Eric Almirola. So literally we have a driver swap. Almirola and Allmendinger swapped rides this year, as Almirola drives the new number 43 Smithfield Foods Dodge. Kevin Harvick in the 30 car, and alongside him, Terry Labonte is now the new driver of the 21 Motorcraft Ford. Bill Elliott has officially retired, and now Terry Labonte will drive the 21 car part-time. Jamie McMurray drives the 1 car, and Brian Clausen drives the 40 car. GM and Kroger and Betty Crocker all serve as primary sponsors now for the 40 car for Jim Ganassi Racing. Bobby Labonte in the 20 Interstate Batteries Toyota starts 23rd, and Brad Keselowski will start 24th. Tony Stewart will start 25th, and alongside him, Jeremy Mayfield in the 88 car. Casey Kane will drive the 5 GoDaddy.com Chevrolet. Farmers Insurance comes on as an associate sponsor as well, and the 28th spot is Jerry Nadeau in the 54 car for Front Row Motorsports. They hope that this car would be going full time, but we'll just see how he performs this year. David Gilliland moves over to the 38 car this year in 2012, and alongside him, Ryan Newman. David Reagan comes back to the 36 car with Ollie's as his sponsor, and Kurt Busch in the 28 Home Depot Ford. Robbie Gordon in the 7 car. Robbie Gordon, this is his final year in NASCAR. After this, he's going to work on his Trophy Truck Series. Denny Hamlin starts farther in back in 34th. James Buescher, another Rookie of the Year candidate. He replaces Paul Menard as the 3rd DEI car. Exide Batteries comes along to sponsor the new number 4 Chevrolet at DEI. And how about Brian Vickers in a new 55 Aaron's Toyota? Brian Vickers moves over to Michael Waltrip Racing from the now debunked Red Bull Racing. Paul Menard moves over to Richard Childress Racing as a 4th team in the new 27 Menard Chevrolet. And Jimmy Johnson will start deep in the field. Scott Riggs returns in the 47 car, will start 39th. And one last rookie, Landon Castle in the 25 car. Landon replaces Casey Mears, and he is also a Rookie of the Year candidate. Rounding out the field, we got Juan Montoya in the 42 car, Joe Nemechek in the 87 car, and finally Reed Sorensen in the 34 car. Reed returns to the Cup Series from Nationwide, replacing David Gilliland. Here is the first lap of the 2012 Daytona 500. Enjoy this first lap. And just as a little side note, you'll see on the grass they have all the promo stuff for the Coke Zero 400. I was not able to find a night version of the Daytona 500, so if you could, try to imagine that says Daytona 500, I would greatly appreciate it. Thank you very much. And just like that, Greg Biffle leads lap 1 of the 2012 Daytona 500. Taking lap 9, Terry Labonte gets into the outside wall, slowing up a few cars, but no caution comes out of it. Lap 13, Kurt Busch, the defending Daytona 500 champion, is deep in the pack, hopefully to avoid the big one. On lap 21, the Pied Piper, or in Rick Allen's case, the Peter Piper of NASCAR, Dale Earnhardt Jr. moves into the lead with a dominant car in this year's Daytona 500. Lap 29, Casey Kane and Matt Kenseth have a sharp battle for the lead. First caution comes out. Harvick gets to the outside wall, and pole sitter Greg Biffle gets together with rookie James Buescher, and that'll bring the first caution out on lap 32. Not much damage for either of them, so both of them will continue on. First round of pit stops on lap 35, and Brad Keselowski will win the race off pit road, and he will lead him to the restart. On the restart, 1-2 is 2-1. Keselowski is first, and Jamie McMurray is second. A couple more notable drivers in the back of the field. Along with Kurt Busch, Jimmy Johnson and Jeff Gordon have found their way to the back of the field. Well, are they playing the safe game as well? Well, a little bit. Clint Bowyer gets into the outside wall. Now, at first it's not that big of a deal, but a couple of laps later, Clint Bowyer does cut down a tire and is forced to go to pit road. However, no caution comes out. On lap 58, a rookie by the name of Landon Castle takes the lead for the first time ever at Daytona. Not for long though, as Tony Stewart, the 2009 Daytona 500 champion, goes underneath Landon Castle. On lap 65, Richard Childress is at it again. Kevin Harvick and AJ Allmendinger now are 1-2 going down the back straightaway. Matt Kenseth, Paul Montoya, and several of the other drivers think to break up the Richard Childress combo. The next caution that comes out is a severe one. Greg Biffle in the back of the field gets loose off turn number 2 down the back straightaway, and he has a severe impact into the inside wall. You see all the air that he gets, and you even see the tire actually gets punctured through the fender of the right front of the car. Pit stops occur, and so we do have a little bit of a mishap between Jeff Burton and Matt Kenseth. And so because of that, Hendrick teammates Jimmy Johnson and Jeff Gordon end up restarting first and second. And so on the restart, Hendrick teammates are starting first and second, and then Roush teammates Kenseth and Edwards are third and fourth. Taking to lap 80, Scott Riggs falls off pace, and he could possibly lose a lap. It is noted that Kroger is a sponsor in the car. For this race specifically, they sponsored both him and Brian Clausen. Taking to lap 112, green flag pit stops take place, and most of it is clean. So after the pit stops, Jeff Gordon remains the leader with teammate Landon Castle now in second. A couple of more cars are with him, including David Stremme, two-time Daytona 500 champion, Casey Mears, and Marcus Ambrose. That is your top 5 for the moment. However, caution comes out again for debris. Another restart takes place as Jeff Gordon gets a good jump on the field. A little farther ahead on lap 142, Robbie Gordon hits the outside wall in turn 4. That slows up a few drivers, including Matt Kenseth. Everyone avoids him, and we do not have a caution. As we have a big battle for the lead between Casey Kane, Almirola, and Dale Earnhardt Jr., but off the triover, Dale Earnhardt Jr. gets into the outside wall. That's why Ryan Newman, you see there, is beneath the double yellow line, was to avoid a possible accident. Fortunately, not one happened in this big pack. Down the back straightaway on lap 161, Reed Sorensen started last, is all the way up in the lead, but Ryan Newman thinks otherwise as he and a couple other upsets, Terry Labonte and Joe Nemechek, are in the picture as well. Lap 167, we see the final pit stops take place for the rest of the field. A few laps later though, more debris is spotted on the track, and the caution comes out once more. Restart on lap 178 as Ryan Newman leads him down to turn number 1 with Terry Labonte and Joe Nemechek second and third respectively. Get into the end now. Lap 186, huge battle up front as now David Runeman is a new upset and he can potentially steal the win away. The 38 car is down to the inside as we go on board with him. He goes into the lead with help from Joey Logano in the 22 car as we go down into turn number 1 and we have trouble. Big crash in turn number 1. David Stremme is involved as we got lots of others. Juan Montoya, Kevin Harvick is involved, Robbie Gordon is into it, but more happened here at the end here. Terry Labonte gets into it, and so he goes his chance for winning Daytona 500, and Clint Bowyer almost misses it, but gets in the outside wall, ending his chances to win Daytona 500 for Michael Waltrip. Another restart here, and at the time of caution, it is Denny Hamlin who ended up being out front with just 8 laps to go. Into the late stages now. Denny Hamlin found his way to the back of the field and he gets into Brian Clausen. Clausen gets turned around and that does not bring out the caution, ending Clausen's chance to win the Daytona 500. Here are the last 2 laps live as we got Tony Stewart in the lead. Could he get his second Daytona 500 victory? Jamie McMurray is in second, Joe Nemechek in third, with a huge upset potential possibility for that team. Brad Keselowski in fourth, but right now it's all Tony Stewart. Keselowski goes low, there goes McMurray low. Oh boy, Tony Stewart, I believe he thought Joe Nemechek was getting a run, so Stewart was going to catch up to Nemechek, but now Stewart is going to be side by side with Jamie McMurray through turn number 3 and turn number 4. Here comes Brad Keselowski right on the bumper of McMurray. Keselowski has a nose underneath, but I don't think he can get around. But Keselowski does have one more lap to get Roger Penske his first Daytona 500 victory. One car to the inside, Martin Truex. I think Joe Nemechek hit the wall. I think that's what happened. Well, anyway, Jamie McMurray is still up front. Keselowski stays behind him. Tony Stewart trying to do everything he can to get back to the front, but throughout the entire race, that Highland has not been a good friend. I think cars are trying to partner up in 2-car tandems, but right now McMurray and Keselowski are not set up at all. How about David Reagan in the 36 and Almirola in the 43? They have a good run through turn 3. Here comes Tony Stewart in the 14. Does he have any chance to get around Keselowski or McMurray? Here they come down the French straightaway, and I don't believe so. 1-2 is 1-2. McMurray will win his first Daytona 500. Congrats to that DEI team as Jamie McMurray wins. Brad Keselowski finishes second. Tony Stewart third. David Reagan finishes fourth. And Eric Almirola will finish fifth. This is the last year I'm going to show for part 1 of What If Dale Earnhardt is Still Alive Part 7. Part 2 will show 2014 through today, and that will come out by the end of this year. So, 3 things to know about 2013. First of all, the Gen 6 car. That's right, even in this universe, the Gen 6 car is a thing. NASCAR decided, hey, the car tomorrow is big and bulky, let's bring it down a notch, but with all the downforce. So that's what we have today. The second change, or the second thing to know, Dodge does stay in NASCAR. Dodge has enough support from enough teams to keep their manufacturer rolling for now. And finally, there is a possibility that the chase could change come next year. NASCAR wants to make it more exciting and wants to add more drama somehow to the action. That will be for later on in the future though. But for right now, we have the 2013 Daytona 500, and here is the starting lineup for this year's field. Starting on pole is Jimmy Johnson in the 48 Lowe Chevrolet, and Clint Bowyer will start on the outside of him. Starting third is AJ Allmendinger in the 31 car, and Matt Kenseth. Matt Kenseth moves over from the Roush Racing 17 car to the number 20, now Dollar General, Toyota for Joe Gibbs Racing. Starting 5th is Kurt Busch. Something little for the Robert Yates team this year. Texaco is coming back, and they are, as of right now, an associate sponsor for the team. Could there be more later on down the road? We will find out. Alongside Kurt Busch is Jeremy Mayfield in the 88 Kellogg's Ford. Dale Earnhardt Jr. returns to the 88 Bass Pro Shop Chevrolet, and Carl Edwards in the Fastenal Ford. Joey Logano in the number 22 Dodge Charger now, and alongside him is Kevin Harvick in the new 30 Budweiser Chevrolet. Jeff Gordon returns to the 24 AARP Chevrolet, and Martin Truex in the 56. Kyle Busch starts 13th, and Casey Kane in the GoDaddy Chevrolet starts 14th. Greg Biffle, and alongside him, Jamie McMurray in the 1 car. Denny Hamlin and Jeff Burton in the 3 car. Ryan Newman has a new sponsor with Quicken Loans coming on to replace the U.S. Army, and Brad Keselowski in the 2 car. Paul Menard in the 27 Menard Chevrolet, and Juan Montoya in the 42 Dodge. As mentioned earlier in this year, Dodge is staying with NASCAR, and Dodge is staying with Ganassi as well. David Gilliland in the 38 car will start 23rd, and his teammate David Reagan moves over from Tommy Baldwin Racing into the 34, right now unsponsored Ford. Hopefully they'll find a sponsor for him soon. Casey Mears will start 25th in the 13 car, and Eric Almirola will start alongside him in 26. David Stremme and Marcus Ambrose starting 28th. Landon Castle in the National Guard Chevrolet, and James Busher returns for another year at DEI. A Rookie of the Year contender, Ricky Stenhouse Jr. replaces Matt Kenseth in the 17 Best 5 Ford, and alongside him another rookie from Roush Racing. This is Trevor Bayne in the number 9 Zest Ford. Trevor Bayne did a few years in the Nationwide Series. Now with a Nationwide Championship underneath his belt, he is ready to take on the big leagues in the Cup Series. Brian Clausen returns to the 40 car, and Stephen Light moves over from the 83 car to the 33 Joe Falk Racing Chevrolet. Dave Blaney returns to NASCAR and the new number 7 Sandy Chevrolet, and alongside him Tony Stewart with a new sponsor, Mobile One. Travis Quaffle moves over to BK Racing and the number 93 Burger King Toyota, and Regan Smith signs an extension to stay with Furniture Row Racing. As we look at the rest of the field, Brian Vickers starts 39th. Alongside him, Bobby Labonte, who was kicked out of his 20 ride, and so the 47 car was now without a driver, because Scott Riggs moves back to the Nationwide Series, and Bobby Labonte is back in the Kingsford Toyota. Going to the rear of the field now, Terry Labonte 41st, Reed Sorensen in the number 36 Chevrolet, replacing David Reagan, and finally David Rudiman in the 83 car. Here is the opening lap to the 2013 Daytona 500. On lap 5, Pied Piper Dale Earnhardt Jr. takes the lead in front of the big field. Joey Logano is trying to get around Dale Earnhardt Jr., but Jr. has a strong car today. On lap 13, Brian Vickers ends up losing the pack, and he ends up falling 2 seconds a lap from the leaders. On lap 21, we have a big battle for the lead as Kyle Busch, Kevin Harvick, and how about David Gilliland to the inside of both of them to take the lead away. Impressive move there, and we stay green. On lap 31, as we mentioned before, Brian Vickers finally falls a lap down to the field. A short while later, on lap 42, green flag pit stops take place as the entire field comes down. On lap 51, the first caution comes out as apparently a fan threw a water cooler onto the track. Security did find the fan and they did kick him out immediately, but his damage was already done and the first caution comes out. On the restart, it is Kyle Busch in front of Kevin Harvick, David Gilliland, and Jeremy Mayfield in fourth. David Gilliland did continue to lead, but between 62 and 67, we had a different leader every single lap. Leaders including Regan Smith, Martin Truex, Joey Logano, and Dale Earnhardt Jr. all end up being out front. But once Dale Earnhardt Jr. got to the front, he stayed out front because his car was that powerful today. Bringing with him is rookie Trevor Bayne in the number 9 car. On lap 68, Reed Sorensen ends up falling a lap down to the field. That does break up the big pack into smaller packs. On lap 74, here is the main lead pack consisting of 12 cars. A while later, green flag pit stops happen again with Dale Earnhardt Jr. leading them down. On lap 105, the top 3 was able to separate themselves from the rest of the field, but that was short-lived as on lap 118, David Rudiman, he thought he could clear Dave Blaney, but he didn't, and he goes for a big slide down the grass, up the track, into the outside wall, spins back down, and just stops in front of the guardrail. Good shot. Lap 121, pit stops again as Jimmy Johnson wins the battle off pit road. So on the restart, it's Jimmy Johnson, Dale Jr., Tony Stewart, Landon Castle, and Jeff Burton, your top 5. On lap 134, Regan Smith, with a bunch of power behind him, takes the lead away from the pack. A while later, James Buescher, with the help of Joey Logano, takes the lead away. And this is important because James Buescher does lead the field to the last set of green flag pit stops. On lap 169, the big pack again drops to a smaller pack as James Buescher does continue to lead the field. Landon Castle second, Jeremy Mayfield third. On lap 171, Jeff Burton ends up cutting a tire down, but the caution does not come out, so Burton does have to go down pit road. On 174, the caution comes out and Dale Earnhardt Jr. with a powerful car, he ends up losing a tire, but because of his cut tire, the debris that came off that tire, that did bring out the caution. Jeff Burton, fortunate enough, was the lucky dog of this caution. On lap 177, we got the final pit stops, and Jimmy Johnson wins the battle off pit road. On the restart, it's Jimmy Johnson, Dave Blaney, Terry Labonte, Jeremy Mayfield, and Regan Smith, your top 5. On lap 184, Landon Castle storms to the front, and look at this monster pack. They mean business as we have a major battle here later on. On lap 189, as we have a big battle for the lead, we have a crash farther in the back involving Sorensen, Ambrose, and Brad Keselowski, taking all 3 of them out of contention. On the restart, it is Kurt Busch who was able to make it to the front of the pack with Paul Menard in third right behind him. Okay. So with 6 coming to 5 laps to go, we have a big pack and anybody can win it. Kurt Busch, who has already won the Daytona 500, could he win another one? Paul Menard looks to the inside and anything could happen. And we have a huge crash! Severe incident coming off turn number 1. One car flew into the air, into the catch fence, and that took out several cars. The catch fence was damaged. Trevor Bayne, heavy damage to his car. As a severe crash, Dave Blaney was in it, Kevin Harvick, Tony Stewart, Jimmy Johnson, Jeff Gordon, Greg Biffle, Kyle Busch, so many drivers involved. Here are a couple of replays of this massive incident. So Truex's car just yanked left. Something must have happened inside. But then, yeah, the roof flaps just never took time to deploy. And Truex just high into the catch fence. The catch fence did its job, but my word. Lots of cars were involved. Tony Stewart is in it, as we mentioned already. Now, technically, the 56 never flipped. Another angle, Dale Jr., he did get some damage, but he is still icing on the track. Jeff Gordon, however, on the other hand, is destroyed. Balabani on the inside, Trevor Bayne gets hit as well. So they are able to fix the catch fence as we go on board with Jeff Gordon in a severe impact. So several cars involved, at least 13 went behind the wall. And so just so you know, it did take about an hour or so to fix the catch fence. And NASCAR was thinking about just ending the race right there because there's only 4 laps to go, and they know it'll be a green-white checkered when they restart. But NASCAR said the fans, they paid for the entire thing, so we're going to give them the whole show. NASCAR decided, hey, let's do it. So they ended up temporarily repairing the catch fence, and so we end up having a green-white checkered. Martin Truex is okay, but he was taken to a local medical center, Halifax Hospital, for further evaluations. Alright, so now we're going to take you to the green-white checkered live. So Kurt Busch is your leader. Paul Menard is second. We have, I believe, about 26 cars on track. Who will take it all? Third place, Terry Labonte. Fourth place, Clint Boyer. Fifth place, Ryan Vickers, who was able to get back on the lead lap. Green flag, 2 laps to go. Kurt Busch moves high. Remember, Busch knows how to win here at Daytona. Look to the inside. That is Terry Labonte, the 21. Could he play upset, and can he give Wood Brothers the first Daytona 500 win in a long time? Clint Boyer follows suit in third. 3 wide as Mayfield down the middle. There goes Terry Labonte all by himself to the low side. Anybody going to go help? Matt Kenseth underneath Casey Kane. Could they do anything about it? Terry Labonte to the inside of Kurt Busch. Here we go. We got to run to the inside. Matt Kenseth giving Casey Mears all the way around. Casey Mears giving Matt Kenseth a big shove as we are going to have 1 lap to go. Wide flag and 2 and 3 wide for all the drivers. 3 wide. Clint Boyer, Kurt Busch, Casey Kane with Terry Labonte, and Casey Mears with Matt Kenseth. Just shows that 27 cars, that's a lot of cars, but in such a little space. Down turn number 2. Matt Kenseth has the lead. Matt Kenseth with Casey Mears goes up to the high side, the block. It is all there. Ricky Stenhouse. There he is in third. Denny Hamlin is in fourth. Denny Hamlin goes underneath Ricky Stenhouse. Kenseth and Mears end up blocking Hamlin. Can Matt Kenseth win the Daytona 500 for Joe Gibbs? Coming off of turn number 4, Stenhouse has a run. Kenseth goes up the block. That leaves the door open for Casey Mears. Does Mears have a run? Here they come to the line. Too close to call. It is way too close to call. And that's literally what NASCAR is saying. Now, the top 5 does say that. It does say Matt Kenseth was out front. But if you look at the timesheet, Matt Kenseth won by 0.000. That is right. Here it is on the screen, the official NR 2003 results sheet. Alright, so here it is in slow-mo. Matt Kenseth and Casey Mears dead even at the line. I think Kenseth went up to the high side because he thought Stenhouse got a run. Not the case. So right now they are giving credit to Kenseth the winner because, as we see in the next shot, it shows that Kenseth's nose hit the yellow just before Casey Mears. However, if we look in the next shot, when they leave the checkered finish, Casey Mears' nose was just barely out in front. And so there you see how absolutely close this finish is. Here's the third shot, and we slow this all the way down, so we let you guys take a look at it. So it's Matt Kenseth and Casey Mears absolutely dead even at the line. No joke. And so Matt Kenseth, there you see, it looks like as they touch the yellow, Kenseth's nose covers it more. But as we move forward a little bit, Casey Mears' nose looks like is the one that leaves the finish line. That is why it is dead even. So either way, those two are out front. They do give the winner to Matt Kenseth, But what do you guys think? Should Kenseth be the winner? Should Casey Mears be the winner? Or should we have our first ever co-champions of the Daytona 500? That is all. We're going to wrap it up here for the first part of What If Dale Earnhardt Is Still Alive Part 7. The second part will take care of 2014 through 2016. Thank you guys for all the support. Love you guys so much. And so the last video of 2016 will be What If Dale Earnhardt Is Still Alive Part 7, the second part. Thanks again, guys. Thank you so much for the support, and I will see you next time.